let us discuss the question as we get into it here, you and I, on this NFC game from Saturday. So the good jumping off point. The question is, what went wrong for Kyle Shanahan's 49ers in Seattle? What specifically went wrong? So I've got Berlin Wall, TSA pre-check, and Centipede. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a glass of Tang. Do they still make Tang? I don't know if they do. They do? Okay.
I think they do.
Yeah. I'm old. When I was a kid, that became like a big thing because the astronauts drank it. And then you looked at what was in it and said, well, that's not really good for you. Probably not that good. Anyway, all right, so to lead off here, what went wrong for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers in Seattle? Well, the simplest answer, this is an Occam's razor situation for the Niners. All right, Occam's razor situation. Everything went wrong. It was absenteeism. Was there anything that went right? I guess the police escort to the stadium was okay. Other than that, not so much. This was a no-show performance wrapped in playoff uniforms. Playoffs? We couldn't do diddly-poo. They didn't. The Niners showed up like a substitute teacher, beaten and broken, last day of school. You got called in there. You roll the TV in. You hit play and take a nap and pray that no one notices you're sleeping. And that's it, right? This wasn't an injured bear fighting for its life. That's what you thought. You thought the Niners would fight to try to get a win and go to the Final Four, and we all knew they were banged up. But this was the injured bear that ordered DoorDash and said, can I get some extra packets of ketchup and some napkins? I would like those. Okay, we'll get you those extra packets of ketchup and some napkins. There you go. Yeah, what happened to scratching and clawing? Hell no, not going to do it. The Niners took a nap. It was unbecoming. They had a nice sandwich in that game, and then they boarded the flight and went home, and that's it. A humiliation situation for the 49ers. It was the second largest playoff defeat again in franchise history. The widest margin in the NFL for the Niners in the postseason since 1986, the end of the 85 season. That was before the Berlin Wall came down. The Berlin Wall was still up the last time a Niners team played this poorly in the playoffs. And that's not recent memory. It's not recent memory. That's a history lesson with some chalk dust and all that stuff. And really from Jump Street, this was just a rotten performance. Now, if you watch Benny versus the Penny, I took the Niners because I assumed that this team was actually not a gutless football team. And they weren't a bunch of cowards, and they were actually going to play, and they were going to attempt to try to win the game. Little did I know that was not the case. If we'd known they were going to not care and just go through the motions, then we would have been on the other side of the game. But right off the beginning of the opening kickoff, no attention to detail. No attention to detail. 95-yard kickoff return to start the game. And it's like getting knocked out before the opening bell. How do you get knocked out before the opening bell? Well, it's like the Niners were trying to get into the ring, and they tripped, and they hit their head, and they had a concussion, and the fight was called off. That was pretty much it. Behind the eight ball, playing uphill the entire game there, and buried under wet cement. That's what happened to the 49ers in this game. It wasn't because of anything magical that Seattle did. This was self-inflicted by the 49ers. How about Robert Saleh, the defensive genius? How's he doing? Everything good with him? Yeah? No? Okay. I guess not. Golden Boy, my foot, 34 points allowed. We'll take away that special teams touchdown, but the debacle, garbage. Garbage. Now, Brock Purdy looked like he should be selling Toyotas full-time, is what he looked like. He should be working at a car dealership somewhere selling you a car, and did not look like someone qualified to play quarterback in the playoffs, and he was bad. He was so bad, even Terry in England will admit he was that bad. Flat soda pop. That was Brock Purdy in this particular game. And San Francisco, they were not ready to play. That was a reflection of Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff there. Bad job by him. And so the bullseye should land squarely on Kyle Shanahan as his team yet again malfunctioning in the postseason. It's been a pattern with Kyle Shanahan teams. They don't get it done. Now, last thing, we go back to the 49ers side of things where left tackle Trent Williams Mr. Positivity postgame, the massively built human being, Trent Williams, he was asked about the state of the Niners as they just didn't compete. They played gutless, spineless football against Seattle. And Trent Williams said, quote, when you're playing with guys you're signing off the practice squad, he said, guys you are taking off the street, you got to temper expectations a bit. He said, quote continues, so many rosters were fully loaded while we were playing with guys that we got a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Some guys signed at the beginning of the season. Some guys signed in the middle of the season, Williams complained. Quote continues, the fact that we were able to get to this part of the season, Trent Williams said of the Niners, divisional round of the playoffs, and give ourselves a chance to get to the NFC Championship game, we're extremely shorthanded. I'm proud of this team, close quote. All right, so the question, offensive tackle Trent Williams is proud of this team. He did the whole rant about the Niners signing guys off the street. That was blank. Again, 49ers massive offensive tackle Trent Williams, his rant about being proud of the team because they signed guys off the street was blank. So my word, obtuse, capital O, obtuse is my word. Trent Williams is out there acting like the 49ers fought to the bitter end, like they deserve some kind of extra credit, finding guys at the bus stop and having to play guys. And I'd like to know which teams exactly are fully healthy, because I don't see any teams, any of them, that are fully healthy. Do you see? Let me know, because I must not be seeing the same things that Trent Williams is seeing, because I see every team has injuries. Do the Niners have more injuries? Sure. I'll say yes. However, the point is the same. You still go out there, you fight. You don't get credit when you roll over in the fetal position and start licking your, I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, come on. Like, seriously. I mean, what are we doing here? And, temper expectations. That was the line from him. Hey, Trent, your team did not just lose. The Niners did not just lose this game. They laid an egg. The egg was so large. How large was it? It was so large you could literally see it from outer space. That's how big an egg the Niners laid in this game. It was so bad you go out and go bowling. It was that bad. Just go bowl. That's more competitive. Bowling. You talk about tone deaf, too. It was amateur hour at the Apollo. Amateur hour at the Apollo. They played the Niners like they had their shoes tied together and feathers in their helmets. That's how they played in this particular game. You can talk about signing guys off the street. Well, we added this guy, we added that guy, and all that stuff. When you're getting steamrolled, okay, you didn't fight. Normally, you would argue, people that you sign off the street are trying to impress someone. This is their opportunity to shine. And so they would actually play hard and compete and all that stuff. I didn't see that. I saw a team that quit. I saw a team that gave up. That is an indictment of Kyle Shanahan. Either you're coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. And this is not some kind of celebration for Trent Williams. This was a human centipede of failure for the 49ers. A human centipede of failure for the 49ers here. They played with the urgency of a sloth on a Sunday stroll is what they did there. And the 49ers were lightweights. No, they weren't. They weren't heavyweight. They were total pretenders. And they played like they didn't play like scorpions. I know that. They didn't play like scorpions. They played more like a domesticated house cat that just ate a big meal and was afraid of the vacuum cleaner. That's what they played like. It is the Ben Maller Show. If you'd like to be part, you can join us right now. 877-99 on Fox. 877-996-6369. We're down to the final four in the NFL. The point spreads are out, the overnight numbers, and the teams favored. The New England Patriots, a 5.5-point road favorite. That tells you what the odds makers think of Jarrett Stidham, the Patriots backup. 5.5-point favorite for the Patriots on the road. Wow. And you've got the Rams and the Seahawks, and Vegas doesn't think much of Seattle. The Seahawks only a 2.5-point favorite, which tells you they think the Rams are the better team.